Okay, this is a day in the life of an online SNHU student who is an environmental science major. So I'm just going to take you through kind of the day in the life of an environmental science major who is an online student and what that looks like for, a degree that typically you would pursue in person. So I like to start off by going to Brightspace. Brightspace is the hub for all of your courses at SNHU. And from there, I go into my geology course. So one of the first things that I like to do is just go through the announcements, make sure that there's nothing important that my professor has posted that I need to know, like maybe an extension to an assignment, etc. Then from there, I like to just look at my modules and I scroll down to my upcoming module if I've completed the previous one. The first thing I like to check are the reading and the resources to kind of get an idea of what is the reading that I'm going to be doing for that week. So there's a lot of reading involved in SNHU courses, and because I'm not coming from a science background in my former degrees and former career, I really try to make sure to read everything that's recommended and assigned to me so that I can really get like a complete background. And so for me, that looks like reading those supplemental articles like this one on mass wasting. We're going to be doing a unit on landslides, and that'll be a part of one of the assignments I'll show you in a bit. But I always check these articles, and I even look at the videos as well.
Different types, and we're going to look at those in this video. After rocks are weathered, they are often eroded, and that process, erosion, is the transportation of the sediments that have been broken down by...
But the main thing is reading from the Mastering Geology e-text. And that's not the name of the actual text, but that's where the textbook is located. So I go to the e-text, and once it loads, it pulls up my textbook, which I think it's called Earth. If I get the name wrong, I'll put it somewhere so you can find it. So right now we are on a section on sedimentary rocks. And this is actually me just looking at a rock that I found outside that I thought was really beautiful, and oh my god, it's so smooth. And I was trying to figure out what kind of rock this is. I think this might actually be igneous. I was kind of hoping I had a great example at my desk of a sedimentary rock, but I don't. But please, if you think this is a different type of rock, if you don't think this is igneous, let me know what you think it is. And so I'm right now in chapter 7 and like the point 2 section, and this chapter is on sedimentary rocks. And so as you can tell, I like to make like really thorough notes. I like to color code with the notes that are in my notebook. And again, just in general, I take really thorough notes because a lot of this information is new to me. And so I really want to make sure that I have like a full understanding of it. And so I take really detailed notes, and I like to make sure that I consistently review them. And because I am using an e-text, I like to have something physical, so I like to take detailed notes so that I don't necessarily need the e-text to review the content. And the reading's not for nothing, right? So the reading is in preparation for the assignment. So a very common assignment that we have each week is a discussion post. And you can have one discussion post, you can have two, etc. This upcoming discussion post for the 4th module is on landslides and mudslides. As I said earlier, we are learning about mass movement. And I really actually like to look at the assignments prior to the reading, or at least prior to starting the reading, just so I'm kind of oriented towards what to look for in the text. In addition to the discussion posts, we have Google Earth exercises. And again, these can be each week. Last week, we actually didn't have a Google Earth exercise due to the nature of what we were learning. But this week, this upcoming week, for the 4th module, we do have a Google Earth exercise. And I always like to open it up, and I like to download the PDF file of this. And I also like to save it and print it out. I really like physical. I like having the physical option. And I really enjoy the Google Earth assignments, and like the previous one we did, I still have the files downloaded for it. It was just looking at the different earthquakes throughout the world and their magnitude. And it's just really fascinating. It's really oriented me to the world, but in particular, it's oriented me to the part of the world that I live in the Pacific Northwest, and learning that I live in the Ring of Fire, and that basically all of the geological hazards, all of the natural hazards, the earthquakes, the tsunamis, etc., the volcanoes, they're happening where I'm living. And so in addition to the Google Earth exercises and the discussion posts, we also have essays that we have to write. And so here's an example of, this is actually the first one that's been assigned to us for the 4th module. And in this, we're imagining a specimen that's gone through the following transitions from sandy beach, piece of sandstone, that's hard to say, piece of quartzite, piece of granite. And we have different prompts that we have to respond to about the different processes through the different processes that these rocks, these environments would have gone through, if that makes sense. That wasn't the best description. But so we have different options here. We have prompt 1, prompt 2, prompt 3. And you have to make sure that you follow the rubric. There is a rubric attached to each assignment, including the discussion post. And I'm not going to show the rubric because, it's not particularly interesting. But it is important to know that the rubric is there. And I always make sure to check it to make sure, checking off all the boxes. Okay, and that's pretty much it. So if you have any more questions about what it is like being an environmental science major online as an online student at SNHU, please make sure to drop down in the comments below and ask all of your questions. I will do the best that I can to answer them. And thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. I hope you found it to be really informative. And until next time, stay safe, be well, and I'll see you all soon. Bye, everyone.